Episode 31.
That's correct, sir.
Stop looking at the monitor.
I'm not. I'm looking at the camera. We have a monitor now over there, and I keep looking over there to say, "Am I handsome?" No, you're
I'm
not.
handsome. He's not.
Not handsome at all.
So this is 31, huh?
Yeah, we're
31.
doing
Holy
good.
heck.
Yeah, we just celebrated 30 last week.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what we did this weekend?
No, what did you do?
We went to the 38th annual Blueberry Festival in Bethlehem.
Oh gosh,
Well, now, oh gosh.
my wife has been
There's a
busting
lot of
me.
people who are going to be watching this, and now you made that little face,
Oh
and
yeah.
now they're going to not watch
No,
us
they're not going
anymore.
to go to the Blueberry Festival.
No, it's over with now, and they're going to say, "Oh, I'm not going to watch him."
My wife wanted to take me there.
Yeah, I was there Sunday.
Well, you're a good
And let
husband.
me tell you, it was very nice.
Yeah.
In fact, you can see the pictures up here. And they had nice blueberry pie, blueberry ice cream. They had two different bands. There was a lot of vendors. It was very nice. It was at the Burnside Plantation. That's
Oh,
usually where they have it every year. 38 years they've been having this. And it was
wow.
nice. We were with John and Mary Beth. And
Oh, they're other friends. Yeah.
yeah, you're my other friends, yeah. And no, but it was nice. We got poured on. It started raining.
Mm.
But let me tell you, it was really nice. All these different vendors and um, people like contest
Yeah.
having making blueberry pie, blueberry crimpets, this, that, everything blueberry. They had ice cream. They had two bands there. One band was like a bluegrass band, and the other one was like a rock band.
Okay.
And they had tents galore, but the where the tents were, where the bands were, I mean, the tents were big, and there was a lot of people. But the only bad thing, it was very, very hot. And then it rained, oh, probably around 5 o'clock. It poured. I mean, it was coming down, you would not believe. But it was nice. It was really nice. Nice fun. It was on Saturday
Yeah.
and on Sunday. So,
I know
yeah.
they got a lot of those festivals in Pennsylvania. You got a garlic festival up north.
No, we have the Garlic Festival in Easton.
Oh, it's in Easton?
They also have Bacon Fest in Easton. They have Garlic Fest, Bacon Fest.
Anything that kills you.
What's that?
Anything that can kill you.
Yeah,
Bacon fest,
that's what it's all about. Yeah.
steak fat fest.
The the grossest thing I've ever had was during Garlic Fest, and I had a garlic chocolate chip cookie. It
Oh,
was absolutely disgusting. I took one bite, Yvonne took a bite, and we just threw it away. It was so bad.
oh,
Oh my God. But there were other things that were there, like Bacon Fest. Oh, that's good because they have beer with them.
yeah.
And you could try different beers, like 5 or 6 different beers with different slabs of bacon and things
What's the
like
one
that.
we met you at a
And
few
they do
years
have
ago?
a doctor on call in case you have a
Yeah,
heart
of course.
attack.
Great.
Easton Hospital's right there.
A few years ago, we met you at one of the Easton Fests. What
That
was it?
was
Clam?
Clam Fest or something like
Clam
that. Yeah, it
Fest.
was more like a fish thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, it was fun. The Blueberry Festival. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, my wife mentioned it a couple times. I didn't get around
Oh,
to
she
getting
wanted to
there.
go.
Yeah.
Oh, she could have came with us. I would have
Yeah, I
done
should have
that.
shipped her with you.
Yeah,
Good.
I'm gonna tell her everything that happened, and that I
You
went and you
should have
didn't
been
want to
there.
take
You
her.
missed it. You missed it. What a time we had.
It was great. Blueberry. There was blueberry all over Bensonhurst.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that's good.
Yep. Yeah, it was really
Pictures
good.
look cool.
Sad note.
Sad note for
Yeah.
me, especially
Yep.
Ozzy Osbourne, dead at 76 today,
God, I remember buying his
July
first album,
22nd.
the Black Sabbath album, Paranoid.
Yep. So yeah, Ozzy Osbourne, dead today at 76.
76 years old. Yeah.
Yeah, I know he wasn't feeling that great. He just did a farewell tour with
Yeah,
a bunch
in
of other
July,
bands.
just
Yeah, in
recently.
July. It
Yeah.
just happened. Yeah,
I don't know how he would have done that. I mean, he's got Parkinson's disease.
I know.
I mean, that's what he died of. To be on stage with that, I guess maybe he sat down. I don't know. I don't know. I know it was
Well,
in England.
when I saw him years ago, he was at the PP&L Center in Allentown, and my wife and I both saw him, and it was amazing the energy this guy had then.
Yeah.
He was 70 years old, probably, or more.
Hmm.
And but jumping around the stage, and
Yeah.
it's so funny. You know, I always found interesting with him is when he talked, can't understand a freaking word he's saying. When he
Right.
sings, you know all the words.
Well, it's always that way with British.
Yeah, it seemed that way, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you sit there and you talk to them, and it's kind of hard to hear their dialect. But then when they sing it, they sound like they're American, like
yeah,
English,
yeah.
regular English. But yeah, they've been around. I didn't know this. They've been around since 1968. Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath,
That's what
yeah,
they started
I
with.
have their first album.
And yeah,
Mhm.
the first album, which was called Black Sabbath. Then the second one is the one I bought, Paranoid. And then I bought Born Again. That was back in '83. That's the one with Ian Gillan from Deep Purple. He sang on
Oh,
that
okay.
with them. Yeah. So
Yeah, the who was his guitar player?
um,
Uh,
Tony Iona,
Iommi, Tony Iommi. Yeah.
Omi.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, he just had that, just amazing.
Yeah.
And his family. I watched the Osbournes. They were on MTV, I think, for the
Mm-hmm.
longest time.
Right.
One of those reality shows. It's funny as hell.
Hmm.
And Sharon stuck with him through everything.
Oh yeah, she did.
Crazy. And he got
Well,
Kelly,
I don't know
the
if you
daughter.
remember. He uh he was on with Barbara Walters years ago,
Okay.
and with Sharon, and Sharon said that she got cancer,
Mm-hmm.
and Ozzy cried right there on the show, and I remember Barbara Walters, consoling him and everything right on the show.
He was they call him the Prince of Darkness, but he was some family man. He really was.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yep.
Weirdo, real crazy. He really lost it when they lost their drummer.
When
His
they
best
what?
friend, when his drummer died.
Oh yeah. Right.
He lost his best friend, and he had an amazing solo career that
That
I
he did.
followed him.
Yeah.
Mama,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mama, I'm coming home, and
Yep.
just song after song, like you said, Paranoid and Iron Man, and just Crazy Train, one of my favorites.
Hmm.
So Rip Ozzy, we loved you, buddy, but sad to see you go. And
Yep.
Bill and I talked about this. We have a couple episodes back. We talk about '70s music and all the people we're losing.
I
We're
know.
watching all of our generation of music
Yeah.
just go away, unfortunately. But you know,
Yep. That's true.
so God love
Hmm.
you, Oz. We'll be joining you shortly. Coming to join you, Oz.
Yep.
Anyway, um, before we get into some of the other main topics here, I wanted to mention last week we talked about the Indian flight crash,
Right. Flight 171.
171. And there was, of course, speculation that somebody turned the fuel off, which is probably still the case. We
Yeah.
don't know for sure. But I found an FAA
Memo.
warrant, yeah, or
Yeah. Or
memo
a memo.
issued. It was that these switches may not lock in the correct position, and it never happened, like you said, right? Never
Well,
happened
right.
per se.
Well, I read about the memo came out. I don't. I can't remember 15 or 16, and it was basically stating about the 737, not the 787 that crashed. But the
Yes,
switches are used in the same
in
plane. They
both.
are. They're on all the Boeing planes,
Right.
777 and the 757 and all that. Um, yeah, that they could pop out. But since that memo came out, nothing has ever happened to
Yeah,
any
this is
plane at all.
2018. You're right. Yep.
Yeah, and
See, it was
and
based on operating reports involving the 737. You're right.
yeah,
Where fuel switches were found with the locking mechanism disengaged.
yeah.
So, we don't know yet. The full report is
Full
still
report will
due to
probably
come
be
out.
out in a year. It's going to be like 2 or 3 thousand pages versus 16 that came out 2 weeks ago
Well,
or
I
a week
got
and a
the
half ago.
majority of it right here in
Yeah,
one
right there.
one
Yep,
page.
yep,
Um, so, I guess we're going to find out more about that.
yeah,
It's a real shame either way, whether it was a deliberate act or it was accidental. Either way, we lost all those people. So,
yeah.
and God with them too.
The other
Crazy.
thing too, the big beautiful bill.
Yeah.
There, I don't know if people know this or not, but there was a program in there called the Trump accounts. And I first thought it was babies that were born January 1, 2025 to January 20th, 2028, and that's when Trump's tenure ends.
Oh
But
yeah.
evidently it begins in 2026. And what it is it's kind of neat if you think about it. They're called Trump accounts, and any babies that are born in that time frame are eligible for these accounts. And what they do, the government gives them $1,000, puts it in an account, and the parents or the parents' workers, if they want to decide to put money into it, they could put up to 5,000 a year.
Okay.
So 1,500, whatever they want to
Right,
do,
right,
up to
right.
5,000.
Right.
Can't touch the account until the child's 18 years old.
Oh, little savings account.
So if they
Kind of.
do this, let's say if they don't do anything and they
Right.
get the $1,000, by the time they're 18, the thing will be worth 4 grand.
Oh, okay.
But
If they don't
if
add
they
to
do
it.
put 5 grand in there, the parents or grandparents or whatever put there,
Yeah.
by the time the child's 18, he'll it'll probably be worth about $190,000.
Wow.
Can you imagine that, a 19-year-old or 18-year-old
Yeah.
all of
Coming
a
out of high
sudden?
school,
Yeah,
pays for college, pays for
yeah,
the.
you could pay for college with that.
Hmm.
Um, it actually turns into like an IRA at that point. Uh, but I thought it was a pretty neat thing, and they got it passed because it's in the big beautiful bill. Now, Democrats tried to do this
Wow.
2 or 3 times. The
Okay.
Democrats called it baby bonds.
Oh,
That's what they call it. Basically, you got a bond.
right.
Never really took off. New Mexico and Connecticut did it. Evidently, it was a state thing. And but now you never really heard about it. And I don't think it's actually going around anymore. I think it's over with. But with this teaches kids, especially when they get a little bit older, 10 years old, 12 years old,
Yeah.
they could see what compound
Oh,
interest and everything is showing
they're learning
and
early.
doing as it grows, and by the time they're 18, they'll have a nice nest egg.
There's also tax credits
Yes,
up to $2,000
up
per
to
child
2,000. Yep,
that you can take off your taxes at
yep,
the end of the year for child care,
yep,
and pretty much anything you buy for that kid
yeah,
is deductible now.
yep. I think it's a great thing.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was actually done by Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is the one that introduced it, and he pitched it to Donald Trump, and Donald Trump said, "Yeah, I think it's a good idea."
And now the dependent is up to 3,000 a kid too, right?
Yes, yep,
So you got the savings account, you got $2,000 credit that you
right,
could take off your taxes for expenses for the child,
right, yep,
and then you got a $3,000
yeah,
qualifying individual for tax
yep,
credit.
yep.
Wow.
It's pretty good.
So,
I think it's a great thing. I really do. I wish my parents would have done that or did something like that.
yeah, I
You know
know.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or they had something like that back then. And like I said, the Democrats did try to do this, I think with either Clinton or Obama, and it was called baby bonds. But evidently, I don't know what happened. I read into it a little bit more, but it seemed like it didn't really take off. 2 states did it. It was more of a state thing. You trying to yawn?
No, tasting my dinner.
Yeah, we just had dinner. Um, 2 states, Connecticut and
Yeah.
New Mexico, were the ones that did it. But anyway, yeah, I think it's all these wins that Trump has got. And
The list is getting longer.
speaking of that, there's a gentleman. His name is Ken Langone. He is the co-founder of Home Depot,
Oh, okay.
and he was never really a Trumper. Back in 16, when Trump ran, he wasn't cool on Trump. Wasn't cool on Trump when after Trump won, and he was going to go for re-election. He wasn't cool on that, but he was recently on PBD podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, he was on MSNBC, or not MSN, CNBC, and he
That one.
talks about Trump. Listen to this exchange here.
Who's talking about him?
Well, he was on CNBC,
Okay.
and Ken Langone. He's in his 90s. He's a billionaire, multi-billionaire. He's the one that started Home Depot.
All right. Got it.
Okay, he doesn't have Home Depot anymore.
And he's
It's
talking
been
about the
sold.
wins of Trump.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
well, he's not talking about so much the wins. He's just saying, I really believe in this guy now.
Oh, okay.
He says, this guy
Yeah.
is doing great. Watch this clip.
Yeah.
It's
Hold on.
fantastic.
We'll put it up.
There's a lot of big victories that they're having. And Ken Langone, okay, one of the Home Depot founders, multi-billionaire, wrote a book called I Love Capitalism, phenomenal book, said the following of what's going on with Trump. He said, I am sold on Trump. Rob, if you can play this clip. Here's Ken Langone.
Look, let me tell you right now, I am sold on Trump. In fact, I'll say this. I think he's got a good shot at going down in history as one of our best presidents ever.
Bingo.
That is a real turnaround because you didn't want to vote for him.
I tell you the reason. I want to tell you, I'm a believer. What I'm seeing happening is absolutely nothing short of a great thing. And there's a beat. People are walking with more bounce in there. It's all around.
It gave you.
Knowledge implies one thing. When you made a mistake, admit it.
Okay.
Good for him.
I think this guy is turning out to be a president.
Right.
One of the pilots on that miraculous trip to Iran that we wiped out, whatever the hell we wiped out,
Right.
he said,
40-hour
you're the only guy that in the presidency that would have done what you did.
Well,
I
that's
mean, there's a billionaire right there, and he admits making a mistake. He says, "I made a mistake. I was wrong."
yeah, he thought the economy was going to go a different direction.
Oh,
and
he
everything,
was,
right?
you know, back then he was talking, you know, back when he was in 2016 when he got in, and when if he was going to be running again in 20, he says, I don't think this, I think whatever he's doing, it's dangerous for the country, blah, blah, blah. But you heard that clip there. Everything that he says is
Yeah.
so true.
So
He
that
says,
was wrong.
yeah, he actually admitted. The guy said, "I'm sorry. I admit it. I was wrong.
Yeah.
I believe in this guy. What he's doing is probably," he says, like in the clip, he's probably going to go down as one of the best presidents we've ever had.
I know. It's amazing how the
Yeah.
contrast, though, of what you're actually hearing on most of the news
Right.
versus,
Right.
the wins. And now it got to the point, I think I mentioned at dinner, that CNN just has no choice now but to admit that the border is closed
Right.
and that we needed a different president to fix it. And it worked.
Don't you think? Do you feel things changing? I do.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, the biggest thing right now is with the guy on late night that got canceled. What's his name?
Oh, yeah.
Stephen Colbert.
Stephen Colbert. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Yeah, goodbye is right.
Well, in a year.
He was losing $40 million
For the company, yeah.
For the company?
Nobody's watching the rhetoric anymore.
I know.
That's
Well,
why.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. And people, I don't know if people know this or not, but I dug deep into this. Skydance. Skydance is a movie production. They did F1.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They did Maverick.
Yeah.
The Maverick. They did a lot of movies. Well, Skydance wants to buy Paramount. Paramount owns CBS. And Skydance, who's owned by Larry Ellison, who's good friends with, not good friends, but he knows Trump pretty well.
Okay.
He is not far to the left. He's not far to the right. He's more in the center. But he has said, if I buy Paramount, which he did, he already bought it, he says, I want more diversity in the late night show. I want both sides.
Right.
Instead of the rhetoric that this idiot for years has been doing for 10 years. I can't stand the guy.
Well,
I think the guy is absolutely an idiot.
Yeah. I
you
mean,
know, he's so stupid the way he talks. And
every night you turn it on.
Oh, it's ridiculous. That's
it's
why
the same monologue.
Yeah, it's the same monologue. All he does
Doesn't
is
make you
bash
laugh.
Trump. He bashes the Republicans. And all three of them, I just don't like. Nobody was better than Letterman and Jay Leno
Johnny Carson.
and Johnny Carson. They were the best.
Here's
These
Johnny.
three idiots are just like ridiculous.
Well, I think, I was listening to Fox Business this morning, and they don't think he's going to make it 10 months.
Well, it's
Because
funny
now
you
the
said
rhetoric is growing higher and
I
faster.
heard the same thing. I was listening to Blaze Radio
Yeah.
with Glenn Beck, and the guy that he had on, he had somebody on, I forget who it was. He said the same thing. He says because evidently last night was the first night since he announced that he was leaving.
Right, and he trashed
last
the
night,
show.
and he really trashed
Yeah.
Trump. And he says now I could say what I want to say. I don't
Right.
care.
Right.
And he said a couple of choice words that they bleeped out.
Yep.
But this guy on Glenn Beck said the same thing. He says, if he keeps going like that, he'll be gone real soon.
Doesn't he realize that that's the reason they were getting rid of him in the first place?
Yeah.
You know? Not that he was specifically talking about Trump, but you turn on these late night shows, you want comedy. You
Yes.
want to laugh. You
Yeah,
want
you want to laugh.
You
Right.
know?
You know,
Kimmel's the next
if
one.
if you look, yeah, it is the next one.
He's the
Yeah.
next one to go.
Yeah,
He's
and,
just as bad.
And Colbert says, "I'm the martyr for you guys," or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But Trump is like,
Oh, he's in heaven.
oh, he's in heaven
loves
about
it.
this. But I mean, the comedy that Carson had,
Yeah.
it was
I
both ways.
still watch
He
the
talked
clips.
about the politics a little bit, but
Yeah.
it was nothing like what it is today.
No, I know.
Nothing. It's ridiculous what they. That's why I don't want. You know, I got a friend that we love Colbert. I was on the tip of my tongue to say, "What are you nuts?"
Yeah.
Oh, we love Colbert. He's so good, and they are far to the left. They are, but I mean, I don't know. It just.
No, I agree. You know, people want to. And even Letterman was so good. I mean, the old guys. I mean, I watched some of the clips on Johnny Carson, like when he had Burt Reynolds on. And,
Oh yeah.
And Don Rickles.
Don Rickles.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Oh,
They were
and Dean
so
Martin
good.
and all that.
Dean Martin with the drink all the
Remember
time.
Dean Martin? There was I forget the one comedian. He was talking to Johnny Carson and he had a cup of coffee and Dean Martin was flicking his ashes in the coffee.
Yeah. And the audience was laughing. Nobody knew
Everybody
why.
was laughing.
Yeah, that was a classic clip. And Johnny Carson's laughing.
Oh yeah.
But
It
then
was great.
there was a skit I remember with Burt Reynolds with whipped cream,
Oh,
and they were hitting each other with it, and he
yeah.
took it and he put it in his
He
pants.
put his
And, you know,
face.
none of that stuff was political. It was just fun.
Yeah, it was
It was
fun.
just
Yeah, it was fun. It was nice.
something really, really nice. So
And they wonder why nobody's watching their show. You know,
nobody's watching
Jimmy Kimmel,
except our show.
Fallon, what's his name? What's
Jimmy
his-
Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon,
He was good
Kimball,
for a while.
and Colbert.
Yeah.
If you take all three of their audiences in one night, Gutfeld beats them.
Oh God, I know. You mean visit?
And he's on cable
viewers,
TV.
right?
Yeah, viewers.
Yeah.
He's on cable TV. He's not on a major network.
Yeah.
He's on cable TV.
And
And-
Gutfeld is coming to our local Bethlehem
right.
place.
Yep, that's right.
It's the Wind Creek Event Center. Look it
Yeah.
up. I think he's coming in October or November. Gutfeld's going. We may go. We're
Yeah.
gonna go as the show,
Yeah.
and maybe we'll do a
Maybe
show.
we'll
from
have
there.
him on the show.
Why not? We're gonna see him. Get him a
Is
card.
he worthy to be on our show?
Wouldn't that be cool? Or we could be on his. Sit there with Kat. Kat. Speaking of Kat, I forget her last name. My apologies, but she had some problems. I think after she had the kid, she was sick for a little bit. So hopefully she's doing
Oh,
much
Kat
better.
Niff or whatever her name was.
Niff, yeah.
She's a nice girl.
Nice girl. She
Yeah.
just had a baby. Congrats.
Yes, she did. You know, I think a lot of things, and like I said, things are changing. You see a lot of different things happening, and a lot of wins for Trump. But now this new thing with Obama coming out and his staff with Brennan and all that, which I think we're going to do a little bit more depth on it next week.
Yeah.
Because there's just more stuff coming out like crazy.
No,
And
you mentioned at dinner that somebody said, well, there actually wasn't a crime
right.
for faking a story, right? That isn't a crime. But from what I understand, he manipulated evidence, or what's the other word I'm looking for, to make it look like it was real.
Right. Yeah.
That's where the crime comes in. That's like treason. Right?
Well, we're going to do a little bit more on this
Yeah.
next week.
Yeah.
But I've already dug pretty deep into it and everything. And so, what else?
Well, I wanted to mention last night's Phillies game.
The Phillies?
The Phillies game last night.
You're a Yankee fan. What are you
Oh,
watching
wait.
the Phillies?
Well, because I was at a guy's house who likes the Phillies. We were doing cigars and stuff. There was the Phillies and the Red Sox.
Right. The Phillies won, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's my point. So it's the bottom of the 10th. And Boston had the bases loaded, 2 outs. And wait, let me get this right. Philly did win. Right. Okay. So, right. Boston was up, and I think was it the Phillies got hit? It was, yeah, that's right. Phillies were up. They're going to win the game because bases loaded and ready. One more run, they would have won. Bottom of the 10th, whatever it was. They were up there. Red Sox loaded the bases, ready to go. Swings the bat, hits the catcher. They called catcher interference, which was the 3rd out.
Oh, my God.
3 guys on board.
From the catcher.
Yeah, because
Boy,
he hit the mitt.
Well, yeah, you can't do that.
You know,
Yeah,
the catcher went way out like
went
this.
out- way
I
out.
never saw a game end like that.
Well, and the reason why sometimes they go way out because they're trying to show the umpire, even though if the ball is out of the strike zone
Yeah,
and they
they're
catch
catching
it,
it
they bring
before.
it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if they go a little bit too far and that bat comes around and hits the glove, yeah.
Yeah, catcher interference, and that's how they won the game because they were about to lose.
Yeah.
But it was pretty interesting watching that. I never saw that before, so I learned something new every day.
Well.
And of course, the extra inning, rules, putting the guy on second base to start
Right.
the inning,
Yeah.
so that the ball game moves on.
Right.
What I didn't agree with, and we mentioned it last week, was the All-Star game.
Yeah.
They're tied in the ninth inning. You go to a
Well, they go to
home run derby?
A home run derby. Well, sort of.
I know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know. Hey,
they couldn't play it
not
out.
to change the subject.
Well, why are you?
Notice our new attire,
Oh yeah, new merch
new merch.
looks a lot better, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I think it looks a lot better than the
Yeah, the other
beige ones.
dumb ones I spent
Yeah.
money
And
on.
how come you're not wearing your shirt? What's the matter with
I
What's
wanted,
the matter with
I wanted to
you?
change things
What's the
up.
matter with you?
I wanted to change it up. I
Yeah,
want to see
that's
how
good.
this thing looks on camera.
Mm.
Anyway,
Yep.
get into a little bit lengthy subject here. Cryptocurrency. For all you people out there that are invested in crypto,
Yeah.
the Genius Act went through, and a few other things have
Yeah, what
gone
is that
through.
exactly? Tell me.
I'm going to tell you.
Talk to me. Talk to me.
So, the Genius Act, there's a lot to it,
Yeah.
but it's giving a little bit of legislation to cryptocurrency. Now, cryptocurrency was just out there. Nobody knows how it works. People are afraid to invest in it.
Well,
And this is a bill to help make sure that the public is protected when we're depending on, they're going to regulate crypto, so to speak.
okay.
All right. But the big thing is that the Genius Bill creates a stable coin. So what a stable coin is, and I'm going to have Rachel talk about it in a minute. She explains it much better
Oh,
than
our
I
new
do.
assistant, Rachel. You should
Yeah.
see her. Nice girl.
Yeah. So there's cross-border payments. There's other things that blockchains do, and no matter what the stable coin is every coin, so to speak, digital coin, is attached to our dollar, or attached to a fiat currency, or attached to gold, or attached to something else. So it doesn't fluctuate. Right. So you don't buy it to make money. So let's say there's a stable coin. There's a stable coin out there called USDC right now. You buy that, you buy 100 of them, it's $100. It's worth 100. For standard transactions, when we go to Pizza Joe's, we have dinner, we can pay with stablecoin.
Right.
And they're attached to our dollar. Now the reason they're doing that is by attaching it to American dollar, as cryptocurrency grows across the world, could be attached to our dollar. So it helps our dollar
Oh.
get stronger and stronger and stronger. Okay.
Oh.
So, unlike some crypto, you buy Bitcoin, but it's very volatile. You could lose your shirt tomorrow, or you can make money. It fluctuates in price. Now, one of my favorites and the third popular crypto right now is called XRP. Ripple's the company, and it just went up another $1. I mean, I owned it when it was like 46 cents, and it went from 240 down to 340 and 350.
Yeah, right now it's at 354.
Nice. So, and what's happening with this Ripple in particular is their blockchain is the cross-border payments that's going to happen on their blockchain. So they're going to, every time they transmit money, it makes money for this particular cryptocurrency. It's not a stable coin. Ripple is the mechanism. So when stable coin starts being used to say, I want to buy a mug,
Yep.
the transactions will go over, most of the transactions should go over this Ripple network. Now, they just announced they were sued by the SEC back when they were non-crypto people, and they've been fighting them for years, and it looks like this lawsuit's going to get dropped now. XRP may become an ETF, which means that you could buy it on regular stock exchange. Right now, Bitcoin is there and Ethereum's there. You can have Fidelity Investments. You can invest in it there because they don't have all these other coins. And believe me, a ton of these other coins are going to go away. All these meme coins, they call them, they have a fart coin out there. They have all these stupid coins. Now, some people made a lot of money on them because they gain traction and, like the Trump coin, right? MAGA coin or Trump coin, whatever it's called. People made money on it. They bought it low. It went up as high as $26, $28, and now it's leveling off again.
Right.
But the actual used coins are the ones that are going to stick.
Yeah.
The Bitcoins, the Ethereum, the XRP, maybe even Doge might be a used coin of some kind.
Well, Bitcoin hit $120,053 today.
Today.
Yep.
Yeah, that was one of the all-time highs. It was 120, and then it dropped off.
So
And,
is your 120.
Yeah.
And then Ethereum is 3728.
I'm waiting for that
Pretty
to
high.
break 4,000. I got some of that in my portfolio. Yeah, over.
So you're saying
120.
that some of these little ones, like USDC and
Well, see, that's funny you mention
Cardano.
that. USDC is a stable coin. It's a dollar for dollar.
Okay.
But like coins like DOT and Peppy coin, and these guys. Now they're
Litecoin, Polkadot,
Polkadot is another one.
Peppy.
Yeah, Peppy, that's the one. Now some people make money on those. There's no question about it. But they're called meme coins. They don't do anything per se, other than they're almost like pieces of artwork. People buy them and hope that the value goes up. So there's probably, I don't even know how many,
Yeah,
100,000
there's the
different
fart
coins.
coin.
Yeah, fart coin. I told you.
$1.66.
$1.66. So when that thing came out, it was probably a penny. People bought it because it's fun. It's a meme coin, and they made a shitload of money on it.
Hmm.
So no question about it. But let me give you a better explanation. I think Rachel, Rachel put together a little something.
She's new. You got to know her name.
I know she's new.
I know she's new.
But I'm gonna put her up here.
She'll explain it to you a little bit better.
And listen to it carefully if you miss
something.
something.
Grab a pen and paper so you can write it down.
Yeah, and if you miss something, just rewind and you can hear it.
Yep.
All right, here she is.
Stablecoins are a type of cryptocurrency whose value is pegged to another asset, such as a fiat currency or gold, to maintain a stable price. They strive to provide an alternative to the high volatility of popular cryptocurrencies, making them potentially more suitable for common transactions. Stablecoins can be utilized in various blockchain-based financial services and can even be used to pay for goods and services. Although the term stablecoin is commonly used, there is no guarantee that the asset will maintain a stable value in relation to the value of the reference asset when traded on secondary markets, or that the reserve of assets, if there is one, will be adequate to satisfy all redemptions. Stablecoins are a type of cryptocurrency that seeks to maintain a stable value by pegging their market value to an external reference. This reference could be a fiat currency like the US dollar, a commodity such as gold, or another financial instrument. The primary goal of stablecoins is to provide an alternative to the high volatility of popular cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, BTC, which can make these digital assets less suitable for common transactions. Stablecoins play a crucial role in the cryptocurrency ecosystem due to their stability. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ether offer numerous benefits, such as not requiring trust in an intermediary institution to send payments anywhere and to anyone. However, their prices are unpredictable and can fluctuate wildly, making them challenging for everyday use. Stablecoins aim to tackle these price fluctuations by tying the value of cryptocurrencies to more stable assets, usually fiat currencies. This stability aims to maintain their value over time and encourages their adoption in regular transactions.
So in New York, we had another incident. An off-duty ICE officer was shot. I guess he was
Horrible.
underneath the George Washington Bridge with his wife and noticed two guys coming up to rob him. He pulled a service weapon, shot back, and they both got hit, the bad guy and this guy that did this. He was arrested 4 times in New York. Miguel Nunez, 21 years old. He arrested 4 times before and just let back out in the street again. And he was seen, they left with the moped, 2 guys. They got him both because they pulled into a hospital to get him help, and he took off. And one guy wounded, but the ICE officer got hit in the face.
Yeah.
And he's fighting for his life. So, another illegal immigrant let go on the street after 4 arrests, and this keeps happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there are times where some of these news guys say, well, it's scattered around the country. Well, that's true, but anyone, if you lose your daughter, you lose anything to these people, these bad guys that are out there, you won't be thinking that way. That it's a small portion of the murders. Yeah, of course it is. But we're adding to the whole portion by having these guys run around and doing what they're doing. And, I don't know if they knew he was an off-duty ICE officer or not, but either way, they were going to rob him.
Yeah.
So he fought back. So, not good.
And, did you hear about this rage incident where the guy got out of the car and he shot him? Shot the guy with the baseball bat. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, we talked about last
last
episode.
week.
It was in Allentown.
Yeah, it was in Allentown.
Yeah.
Well, the guy that shot him, he's not getting charged.
No.
He's not
Right.
getting charged, which I thought was kind of surprising. I thought sure they were going to find something on
I
him
know,
and charge
I
him.
know.
But the cameras that they have set up on the
Right.
street watched and said he was actually trying to defend himself because the guy was running around with a
With a bat.
baseball bat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they didn't charge him. Wow.
Well, that's good. That's positive for once. You know, we mentioned Ozzy passing away. We also lost Jamal
Yeah.
Warner,
From the
Malcolm-Jamal
from
Warner.
the Cosby Show.
He was
yeah.
on the Cosby Show, played his son on the Cosby Show, and he also, I didn't notice, he got a Grammy Award for music.
Yep.
And you know, he had a lot. He was in different movies and different TV shows. He really had a nice career. And he went swimming on vacation and got dragged out from a current and couldn't save himself. And I guess they didn't get out there to save him either. So it was an accidental drowning. It just, you know, somebody else lost their life just not doing anything, you know. Yeah, but he was a good kid. I mean, he was good in the Cosby Show. I'm going to show. I got another clip. There's a clip where he's talking about having an apartment and money and how to use money and all. And Bill Cosby, this is one of the best skits I think there is on the show, and he explains to him about the money and how it disappears when you have a girl and when you're married. Just watch this. It's cute. Good clip. Yeah, so that was Malcolm-Jamal Warner, and you know, funny clip.
Yeah.
Funny guy. Good
Yep.
good person. So we lost him. We lost Ozzy.
He was swimming. He drowned in Costa Rica.
Yeah, got caught in an undercurrent.
Yeah.
That almost happened to me once. We were in Point Pleasant Beach, New Jersey. Yellow flags all over. My son was young. Had a styrofoam surfboard, right? He wanted to go out anyway.
Yeah.
So he goes out anyway, and he's stuck in the rip currents.
Oh.
He wasn't upside down or anything because he was hanging onto the board, but he couldn't get back in. So, Dad, I go out there to go save him. Guess what? I had a hunky guy come pull me out of the water. My wife's on the shore going, should I save my son or my husband? Because they're both drowning. I literally was going 3, 2.
But then when she saw the hunky guy taking you out, she said, "Oh, I'm going to try to save him."
Yeah, she took off with the lifeguard. Anyway, I coughed up salt water and seaweed for like an hour. It was disgusting.
We had a friend, and it actually happened in Costa Rica. He snapped his neck. He was surfing,
Oh, yeah.
and he fell, got in the riptide of some kind, tried to fight it, and he hit the ground underneath the bottom, and it snapped his
Oh,
neck. He
yeah.
is now a paraplegic.
Great. So yeah, don't fool with Mother Nature.
Yeah.
So that's it, guys. We're on episode 31. We got a lot coming up this week for next show. We may be an audience at the Pizza Fellas podcast on Thursday. We're looking forward to that. But I'm going to close with a little Ozzy song here. We'll close with our logo, but Crazy Train. Love the song.
Very good.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Bill.
See you next
See ya.
week.
Bye-bye.